So it's been a long time since I've done an update on this tank. A lot's changed. Um, and I'm just going to do a quick update now of what sort of happened over the last few months since the last video. I've just done a water change and stirred up the sand bed a bit, blown off the rocks and stuff. So it's looking really turbid at the moment. I think that's the word. But as you might see, the tank generally, what I've tried to do over the last few months is thin it out a bit. So I've taken out some of the larger LPS colonies, some of the colonies which were just sat in the sand bed. I've moved some of the SPS around to lower in the tank. So there's more stylophoras and things at the bottom and multipora at the bottom. And the reason for that is I wanted to go heavier on the SPS. So in particular, I wanted to try more Acropora. So you might notice things like Oregon Taut here, a pink Millie here, some tenuous. And yeah, I just wanted to try more Acropora basically. I've also recently been doing some fragging of the original SPS in this tank. So there's blue Stylophoria at the top here, the yellow Anacropora, and this Monty Elkhorn. I've been doing some fragging, so there's a bunch of frags here just to thin those out a bit. Yeah, in general, tank's been going really, really well. No major issues. Yeah, I really can't think of anything that has sort of gone wrong recently. Nutrients are pretty good now. So I think previously I had really high phosphates. They're now below 1. I think I tested today and they were 0.08, sorry. And nitrate was 9. So pretty happy with those values. And I've managed to achieve that through dosing Reef's Elements phosphate, which is basically lanthanum chloride. I dose that every hour, but a really diluted concentration, 10%. And the idea is that by dosing such a small amount, it reduces the risk of any particulates making its way through the filtration. So I dose it into the overflow, so it gets caught in the filter roller, and then hopefully the skimmer gets any of the rest. And I actually recently did an ICP, and my lanthanum chloride was below, I think 10, whatever it is, 10 milligrams per liter or whatever. I can't remember what the units are that they use, but it was below sort of what they consider hazardous, so it was within a good range. So I'm really happy with that, because that's really helped bring the phosphates down. Something I'm trying at the moment, or just started trying, is carbon dosing. So again, using Reef's Elements, Carbo Plus I think it's called. I've started dosing a small amount of carbon every day, 1.5 mils on this system, just to see, because there's a lot of talk about how carbon dosing, so long as you keep your nutrients high as well, it essentially gut loads bacteria, even though they don't have guts. And those bacteria populations then feed your corals, and apparently you get better growth and color. So that's coming from Sunny Hirali's sort of bacteria-driven tank, and recently Coral Euphoria also tried this. And so I don't know, I just thought there's no harm in giving it a go, and if anything, it might mean that I can reduce my phosphate lanthanum chloride dosing even more, so that'd be great too. Yeah, so otherwise I'm still dosing 2-part, again, Reef's Elements pH plus, that keeps my pH between 8.2, and over the summer, actually, now the windows are closed, but it's getting colder here in the UK. But yeah, for a while there over the summer, it's getting up to like 8.7. I was actually starting to get a bit worried about that pH getting too high. But yeah, as I say, now that the windows are closed, things are, it's in a normal range again. Fish-wise, there's actually been quite a lot of changes since the last sort of video, which was months ago. I lost all my pipefish, so I can't remember if I think I did mention in that video, but I had to do a treatment for Acropora bugs, and that wipes out all the beneficial copepods as well. I haven't seen any for months and months now, and I think that, you know, even though they were both, the blue stripe and the snake neck would take, a snake head were taken, or dragon head I think they're called, were taken frozen food, they unfortunately, I think, you know, were relying more on that copepod population than what I realized. And it's not something like I saw them deteriorating, just one day they were gone. So I mean, they're very skinny fish anyway, so hard to yeah, hard to tell if they're actually getting enough food, but unfortunately lost those. And in some ways that was a good thing because it meant that something I've really been focusing on more recently as well is increasing my flow. So I'm now running my MP10s at like 80%, and I've changed. I was using Reef Crest mode like most people, but I found that this just wasn't really, yeah, it only really gets up to a peak flow for a couple of seconds and it goes back down. And now what I'm doing is kind of a gyre flow. So one of the pumps will push like up 80% for 2 minutes or so, and then it switches and the other one does the same. And that actually seems to be generating way more flow for me. And I'm actually also experimenting with adding a third gyre on the back. Sorry, not gyre, third MP10 on the back here. And I'd like to get another one for the other side as well. So yeah, trying to basically just boost the flow a bit for the, now that I'm more SPS dominant. Sorry, going back to the fish. So yeah, so getting rid of the pipefish dye meant that I could basically crank up the flow because they don't like flow. And yeah, other fish I've added more of the, I really like the little blue damsels, so I have a trio of those now and they get on great. Shark nose gobby, which you can see here at the bottom, always wanted one of those. Otherwise, I don't think there's, oh, I added 2 orchid dottybacks, which I really, really love. They're so bright. Well, interesting, one of them is, so I ordered one online and it came and it was kind of a dull purple color, and I kind of figured, oh, it's stress from shipping or whatever, right? It will color up, and it never did. So when I saw another really bright purple one like they're meant to be, that's the one you can see there behind the wrasse. Yeah, here, sorry, here, this is the one, that the new one, but this is the color they should be. So when I saw that one, a little tiny one, I picked it up because they're actually like clownfish. So they will, one of them, the larger or whatever, will become the female, and you can pair them up. And they've been fine, tiny little bit of aggression the first day, but otherwise they've been absolutely great together. I can't see the other one. The other one's way more shy. They're both meant to be captive bred, but I wonder if the other one was. But anyway, I think that's what the changes fish-wise. I've still got Stark-Eye Damsel. This silver belly wrasse has gotten absolutely huge, but it did completely eradicate. I had some red planaria. I don't see that anymore. Eventually he'll probably get too big for this tank. Did you see he was being cleaned then by the shark nose gobby, which is a cleaner wrasse. Yeah, I've still got things like the little geometric pygmy hawkfish, which you can just make out through there. And yeah, I lost most of these little, the red, I think they're called red spot cardinals or red tail spot cardinals, can't remember the name. Yeah, wouldn't recommend those, and I'm not going to try them again. This is my last one, but I've got. But yeah, otherwise fish, sort of pretty happy. I've still got the, what's the other one, the Swiss Guard Basslet. That, I don't see a huge amount. The yellow assessor sticks in its cave for the day. So yeah, generally fish-wise doing really well. I don't think I'll make too many more changes there. They're all a bit shy because for some reason all the fish seem to hate the camera. Yeah, fish doing fine. Coral-wise then, so as I said, I've gone way more SPS heavy, and I basically tried to, I had a sort of a cull where I sold a lot of like the 2 large Goniopora connies. I moved a lot of LPS further down in the scape, moved some of the easier SPS down in the scape as well, and got rid of some, large mushroom colony that I had, and I've moved all the hammers, for example, to the back corner here, kind of made a hammer garden. They kind of look like rubbish under this white light, but there's kind of a pink one and a green one and a blue one, and I've still got my big yellow one. I've actually fragged that many times, that yellow one. It's a huge, really good grower. I also added a Holy Grail torch at the back there with the indigo torch. Again, there's the other orchid dottyback. Really nice under the blues, and I mean, I actually way prefer the tank under the whites like this. Even if you don't see all that fluorescence, I don't know, I just prefer this natural look. Yeah, so let's have a look. So I added an Oregon tort, which you can see at the back there. It's not very blue yet. I'm hoping that I don't know if we have the true Oregon tort here in the UK, but I'm hoping that colors up. Then we got things like, this is meant to be a golden jaw dropper type acropora, but it's a bit, it doesn't have great coloration at the moment. Strawberry shortcake, which is starting to grow really well now. PC rainbow, some sort of yellow lattice, I can't remember how you say it. Pink millie, I can't remember what this is, but yeah. So basically, just added a few more acropora. This is a Miyagi tort, or electric Miyagi tort, I think it's called. But yeah, just looking forward to these things growing out and seeing the tank really mature. This is a Pikachu, but it looks like crap at the moment. That's the last acropora I added, and it completely browned out. So I don't know, it doesn't look super healthy. It might die. I've not had much success. That's the second time I'm trying a Pikachu. I want a yellow coral, or yellow acropora, but so far not much success. I seem to do best. I mean, the fastest growing, this pink millie here is so fast growing. That was basically just 2 branches, and now it's got loads of branches coming out, and it's basing out really well. This tenuous in the middle is stunning under blue. It's like kind of electric blue skin with kind of red polyps, but again, under white light, it doesn't look like anything. Yeah, I think that's probably it. As I say, I've just done a water change and stirred up the sand bed and stuff, so tank looks like really, really messy, really turbid, but in a few hours it will clear up. So yeah, I just wanted to, I'm gonna try, I mean, I would really like to try and do these monthly, but I think the problem was that I got bogged down too much in like trying to make the production value nice and editing them all nice, and I just don't have the time for that. So if I can just do these more kind of like on the fly, off the cuff tank updates, really just for me, I really just want to track the progress of this tank over time. And yeah, so I'll try and do these a bit more often. This glass is, whenever I have the frag rack in the tank, I just get really lazy and never clean the glass there. But I'm hoping to sell the rest of these corals pretty soon so I can get that out. But anyway, I'll leave it there, and hopefully it won't be too long until the next update.